401k, y'all, and we're going to talk about the Food 401k today. We'll have a little series on what it's all about. And there's a grub that's healthy soil, and this is predominantly clay soil, and when I up pot, I put good composted soil in there, and then I mulch the top with mixed tree trimmings like Howard Garrett recommends, the Dirt Doctor. So it's a mixture of hard and soft woods and leaves and all that good stuff. And I fertilize it with IV Organics. I got a bag right here. Hold on a second. I fertilize everything with the IV all-purpose. The other thing I'm probably going to do today, if I get to it, is I'm going to be using the IV Organics coating to coat all of my grafted trees, all the graft junctions and all that good stuff to my older grafted trees. If you want 10% off at IV Organics, you can, the code is Texas 10. That'll get you 10% off any IV Organic product. Great product, made here in America. I know the owner, Charles Malky, awesome guy, very knowledgeable, and I appreciate his products. They work great. So right now, we're planting these as understory temporarily. They might permanently go right here in the dappled light understory, or they might go in the back food forest. I'm also experimenting in the back with the gray water and different ways to divert it, because I've been running a drip system, but there's enough gray water in the back where I can thoroughly and permanently water everything. I'm trying to figure out a way to do it without pressure. So we're going to be experimenting on that. So what is the Food 401k? Why do we call it the Food 401k? A little bit of my background. I was a financial planner for 11 years, and I got out of the market in 2008 and have not been back in the market. Doing the different types of parts of my job as a financial planner and doing stock analysis, mutual fund analysis, I started noticing a lot of really synthetic, shady stuff that I won't bore everybody with what was going on, but it was, for lack of a better word, it was a super gigantic Ponzi scheme. And the entire market, the stocks and the bonds, if you want to be in bonds to the bankers, and if you want to let the bankers put you in stocks in the public square so that everybody can laugh at you, definitely invest in the stock market and put yourself in the stocks and the bonds of the banking cartel. We're going to learn a whole lot about the international banking cartel, because we're literally watching a repeat of the late 20s. And I want to also plug TrueStream Media and the Trust Game. I think part 5 or 6 is out now. If you want to learn the real history of the international banking cartel and what the quote-unquote Federal Reserve is, and how they're redistributing all of our wealth into their pockets and leaving us with nothing, definitely check out the Trust Game at TrueStream Media. Tell them the Texas Boys sent you. They're fellow Texans, Aaron and Melissa Dykes, and they do awesome work. We appreciate their work there. So why Food 401k? Got out of the market in 2008. We strategically relocated to Texas in 2014, and as we were rebuilding our life and business and putting everything back together, I was praying about and trying to decide what we were going to invest in, because investing is great. There's lots of things you can invest in: your education, you can invest in your children, you can invest in your posterity, you can invest in your future and a legacy. And one of the major recommendations that I can recommend is observe the masses and do the opposite. So if the masses are working to retire and they're investing their discretionary income into a synthesized, manipulated stocks and bonds, I would highly recommend that you do the absolute opposite of that. Do not participate. It's a lot like voting, y'all. If we continue to vote, I don't want to get too political on you, but if we continue to vote on a federal level, it shows them that we're duped because voting don't matter. All you have to do is look at the current administration of the United States, or any other country for that matter. So why a food 401k? A food 401k is inflationary proof. Now, you do need some dirt coin if you want a food 401k, and everybody can't do a food 401k to the level that we are doing a food 401k, but everybody doesn't have 6 kids either, and everybody doesn't have the same amount of discretionary funds, and doesn't have the same goals and plans. Everything is relative to your current situation and scenario, and there is no one particular strategy that works for absolutely everybody. It's a lot like diet. You know, diet is different for everybody. Everybody's metabolism is different. Everybody reacts differently to different types of foods. So one food that's great for one person is not great for other people, and you know, your financial plan is similar, but the food 401k is a systematic dollar cost averaging, investing into your infrastructure, into your food system, into your own food resiliency, and a very weak and purposely demolitioned infrastructure. The on-time infrastructure collapse was an inside job, y'all, and so there's nothing more of an instant type or a close supply chain than picking fruit right off a tree in your yard. And that fruit there that you pick off of that tree is inflationary proof. It's an inflation hedge. You can in turn propagate and share your fruit trees with your friends and your families and other people's in your network. So it's a way to transfer wealth. And the beauty of the food 401k and transferring wealth is you're not redistributing wealth, you're not robbing the rich and giving it to the poor, and you're not taking it from the producer and giving it to the non-producer. You're producing in abundance and then multiplying that abundance and handing it off. And the beauty of what God does and God's abundance is, if I propagate this pear tree and give it to somebody, I don't have less pears. I'll have more pears as long as I'm practicing husbandry, and as long as everything that God does with the rain and the sunshine and the freeze and the snow, as long as he does his part and I do my part, I have more pears, and I'll have abundance of pears to give away. I can propagate the tree, give the tree away, and then that person can take that tree, and if they care for it properly, if they attend to it, if they feed it, if they nurture it, it'll feed them. But there's no free lunch, there's no free ride, and I just can't hand them a pot, and nothing magically happens without hard work. Everything requires hard work, and that is the beauty of the food 401k. And the other necessity of the food 401k is diversification. We cannot plant in a monoculture fashion using conventional techniques. That's a broken system that's designed to fail, that's designed to erode and destroy the soil. It's designed to require pesticides and artificial nutrients and artificial fertilizers, which are in very short supply and in very high expense and cost right now. So we're seeing, in my opinion, when I coined this phrase and came up with this food 401k idea 5 or 6 years ago, we're seeing the fulfillment of the necessity of the application. And look, none of this was my idea, y'all, but when you can see what's going on in these individual markets, and you know a little bit about how these markets are supposed to work, and then once you learn how they're designed to work and how artificial they are, and how there is no reserves. There's no longer, thanks to Bretton Woods, there's no longer a gold standard, and even the gold that we do have is being artificially deflated in a dramatic, traumatic way, gold and silver. And the best thing, in my opinion, that you can invest in is food, and not something in a Mylar bag in a bucket. While that's good for its intended need and purpose, if you're not investing in a food 401k that continues to grow and sustain itself, the beauty of perennials is you plant it once, you care for it, you propagate it, you nurture it. And a lot of times I'll propagate my trees and I'll back them up. Fluke, weird things happen, bugs happen, pests happen, animals happen. Sometimes little puppy dogs like to rip trees out of the ground because it's something that they like to do. And they'll take a very expensive tree and rip it out of the ground. And that's all part of life, and that's all part of planning and preparation and planning ahead. But we'll be talking more about the food 401k. Matt's been offering the food forest in a box, and that's basically the foundational concept of what the food 401k is, and we want to be able to pass that along, pay it forward, and also preserve these different lines of variety of food that are perennial, that you'll plant once, and if you take care of them and care for them, and God gives the rain, the former and the latter rain, they will grow and produce in abundance, and then you in turn can pay that forward, and you can give and continue to learn. You can't do that with a synthetic. You can't do that with a synthetic system. Really, all that stocks and bonds is just it's to put you into bondage to them, to they, them, and those, and they're in control. And then we're left to, well, it's really complicated and you don't understand, and your problem is you don't understand. And my problem, what happened to me, is I did understand, and I learned, and I read a couple books, and I said, wow, this is all a scam and a sham, and I'm not going to participate, and they're not going to redistribute my wealth. So I invested in infrastructure. We have about 400 or maybe 500 trees by now. I have lots of trees in pots. These smaller trees are going into bigger pots. They're going in the ground. I got some different mulberries today and some pawpaws that are going in pots and going in the ground to continue this process. We are in our 4th or 5th year of planting, and it appears that we are going to have an abundance of harvest. There's lots of breba figs on many of the fruit trees. All the peach trees are blossoming. The pear trees are just starting to break bud. The bees are busy pollinating and doing what they were designed and created to do. And we're doing what we were designed and created to do. And it's like 80 degrees, and we live in a very special place, y'all. Very, very blessed. I'm very thankful. And I really feel like we live in a wonderland. It's a beautiful, wonderful place to live. It's a beautiful place to be out here, just absorbing all that God has blessed us with. And we want to be a blessing to others and share a little bit of our ideas and concepts, share a little bit of the fruits of our labor, and help you develop a system and an infrastructure for yourself that you can participate in, and we can continue this process in an agrarian, agricultural, permaculture lifestyle. And I love Bill Mollison, and I like quoting Bill Mollison. Bill Mollison said, permaculture is sedition. And the concept and premise of permaculture being sedition is permaculture is a seditious act. Why? Because if you study, practice, and teach permaculture, you are rebelling against the synthetic synthesized artificial system that is designed to keep you in bondage. And it's designed as a control mechanism to keep you in the matrix. For y'all that are into Hollywood and red pills and blue pills, and y'all need some kind of Hollywoodified thingamabob, they want to keep you in the matrix, y'all. And this is one way out of the matrix, by investing in the food 401k and some dirt coin and infrastructure to put food on your family. All right, y'all. Texas Dad out.